Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Okay, we're going to step back into some more brutality today, and we're going to be looking at Lorna again. I know a lot of you have been itching for me to get back to that, so this is going to be a little bit of a different one. I figured what would be most useful would be to sort of look at, I mean, all the hype around Will Ramos is obviously well earned and well deserved, but I would love to see where the band came from before that. Now, I believe this song was recorded with CJ McCreery. And I know that there was some controversy around why he left the band. I haven't looked too deep into it, but look, at the end of the day, politics and stuff like that isn't what I'm about on this channel. This is strictly, for my own edification to try and figure out, whether Will Ramos is a real standout. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't have the experience to know. All this music genre is very new to me, and I don't know whether or not, the hype surrounding him is warranted, because I don't know what it is in comparison to, right? So I figured the best way to do that is to have a listen to what the band was producing prior to Will joining, and seeing, not comparing who's better, what's better, more just a case of, what makes him different, what makes him unusual, because you have to admit there's something about him that is capturing people's attention, because while this band was probably known before, they've exploded onto the scene with their new material and with Will as singing. And obviously all of his things one take videos and stuff are all juggernaut videos, you know what I mean? So, let's just jump straight in. Lorna, Immortal. Check it out. Cool guitar. It loves me a little bit of Sanctus Dominum, a bit of Latin. Let's jump back a little bit. Because there was, first of all, Washburn guitar. That's a choice. That's definitely a choice. I've got one right here. It's an interesting choice because this is for that person who contacted me about they subscribed just because of Nuno Betancourt reference. That's a Nuno Betancourt reference, baby, right there. But yeah, Washburn is one of those brands that you just don't see around a lot, They make great guitars, but it's there's a lot of other options that are sort of more mainstream, and so it's not as common to see them around. But anyway, Sanctus Dominum, let's do this. Good imagery too. He said, I'd like a tattoo. They said, where? He said, yes. There's something about doing close-ups on the guitarist's hands in these fast picking things and doing it in slow motion that just sucks the energy out of what they're doing. That said, man, the imagery in this is really solid, man. It's so good. So if this is CJ, I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's CJ. I'm just going to assume it is. Great low tones, man. That low growl is really cool. Let's see what other chops he's got. Second of all, these bands spend some money on these clips, man. Where do you go to find a grinding wheel, and an old guy to grind an axe on it? Grinding axes. Maybe that's part of the deal with this song too. just quickly looking at like the lyrics, it's all very doomy, you know, like repulsive sermonizer, vile, wrathful prophesizer. It's all sort of that like end of the world, doomsday kind of stuff that you kind of expect from black metal and stuff like that. So it's pretty standard, but some cool, like sonically, it's just got some cool elements to it. Cool rhythm. Texturally, that part through there was really nice. Just that little guitar lick repeating like that over the blast beaty kind of rhythm. There's a lot going on there, but it's texturally it's kind of it's a nice balance because it's not super full on with heaps of everything going at once. Like that's if I had one, I don't want to say criticism, but one thing that stood out to me as being kind of it made me feel a little taken aback was with To the Hellfire. It's just this consistent onslaught of power, which in itself is freaking cool. However, sometimes you need some light and shade, and that's, you know, something I noticed with one of the other Lorna Shore songs that was key in that one. But To the Hellfire is just like literally just getting slammed into by a truck on the freeway, and it just doesn't stop. You know, it just keeps on going to the next state, you know. Yeah, so it's nice to see this one's got some light and shade as well, though, because it's a little bit of a different vibe. But it's like, it's a nice embellishment, right? It's some way you can sort of still find interest, and there's still the low growls going over the top and things like that, which is, yeah, really, really cool. Like rhythmically, it's cool too. I still don't know how to produce that sound, eh? It always just defaults to like, which it isn't right. Like you can feel it in your throat. That's just, it's not the right technique. One of these days I'm gonna have to sit down and learn how to do that shit. Pig squeals are another thing I'm super curious about too. If anybody knows of any good technique videos, I had a quick look at Cartervox Academy's video on it, but yeah, I got to really spend some time because I'm just curious. I don't want to become like a deathcore singer or anything like that, but I'd love to know how the sounds are produced in a healthy way. It's such a phenomenon. These guys always manage to get hot babes for their videos. Interesting thing actually I've noticed about this guitar player too is he has this amazing ability to find like these power uplifting kind of melodic elements in his playing in amongst the doom, and it gives it this sort of like loftiness, like this what's the word, it's like this pious sensation because you've got so much of an undercurrent of just like just doom and morosity, I guess. And then over the top, you've got these anthemic power melodies that sort of make it seem like, you know, like it just reminds me of like a hero running through battle. You know what I mean? Listen again, you'll hear what I'm talking about. It's just these cool sort of major sounding melodies by comparison. very cool. So yeah, okay, this is interesting, right? So now he's doing much more high sort of screams up there. And to be fair, as somebody, and you got to understand, I'm coming from a place of having completely untrained ears in this sort of black and deathcore genre and deathcore in general. He's doing a lot of what Will Ramos does. And so I don't know that to the untrained ear, there's a lot of difference. He seems to be hitting all of those marks the same way. Whether or not it's a tonal characteristic or just the energy of the way that he writes vocals in general, I'm not sure. But it seems to me as like a rookie sort of looking in, like if I heard the two songs back to back, I probably might not even be able to tell you that it was two different vocalists. So that's interesting. That's a really interesting thing. I was expecting it to be like night and day, but it really isn't. Another good textural guitar rhythm as well. Did you hear those like choral vocal sort of cinematic sort of chorusing come back in just there that sort of underpin that? That was so beautiful. Listen. It's there. So cool. Man, those detuned guitars and that sort of synth element, they just blend, right? It's like silk. It's so good. It has all of the impact that they want it to have, like just as far as like that, just dramatic tension. You can hear it as soon as that chord comes in where it's kind of standalone. You can hear it better. Sounds like there's a pipe organ sound in there too. It's hard to tell. There's a little marching beat in there. Nice. What a sound. Man. I love this madness. Wow. That, like, I love how the video clip sort of you know, the story of the video clip sort of goes in line with the music. It doesn't seem like that much thought would be put into it, but like this part here, it goes from being sort of musically competent with like, you know, like drama and tension and things like that, to this part where clearly now the witches have been slain. This new part is just raw and cumbersome and clunky, and the vocals again are just they're sort of more improvised in their feel, and you get this sensation of now they're dead and they're releasing the evil spirits, and I feel like shit's about to get real ugly. You know what I mean? Hang on, let's go back. So like to get that vibe again. That was so cool. Right there it is. Pull the lever. Here's the ropes going taut. These people made a big mistake. There's that positive melody again. Power metal. Blood Moon. Where do they find this imagery? Who's making these music videos, man? Jesus Christ. That was just a great shot. See, the thing about killing a witch is you got to make sure that the witch stays dead. Musically, it's just so stunning. Half time. No point apologizing now, homie. Cool, very cool. Directed by Joey Durango. Joey knows what's up. Whew, we'll be right back. So we can all agree that was pretty evil. But you know what else is evil? Not being able to see the world in full color. So 1 in 6 guys, 1 in 200 women are colorblind, much like myself. And there's something you can do about it. You can click the link in the description. It'll take you to Enchroma, where you can get an eye test and find out what kind of color blindness you might have. And while you're there, you can pick up some corrective lenses and some awesome frames. There's styles to suit everybody. They've got some payment plans. They've got a 60-day money-back guarantee. So you've really got nothing to lose. And if you do decide to pick something up, use the code CHAOS in the checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you. All right, so let's break down Lorna Shore Immortal. Look, the thing that's super interesting about these bands, and it's something that I didn't expect to find in this journey, because like, look, from the outset, somebody who's not accustomed to this music, a lot of times it just, you know, you hear old people referring to it as just noise. I don't know what's going on and stuff like that. And so it can be, you know, that's the barrier. I think the barrier to sort of get involved in music like this is often only seeing things on the surface level. This is exactly why I started this channel, so I could begin to break down some of those walls by analyzing deep analysis of the music. And let's face it, if you somehow get into a band like Lorna Shore, and then you're finding other material by other bands and things like that, you've already broken down those walls. You know what to expect. And so what you're listening for isn't the overall facade of sound. You're looking for key elements within the music. And that's exactly why this process has worked so well for me, because I'm trying to figure out what makes these songs interesting. And so in doing that, I get to smash through that initial barrier of like, this is just too much, and just start looking at the bits and pieces inside. Lorna Shore is a band that composes songs that have so many interesting bits inside. You know, And this song's no exception. It just takes you on such a vivid journey. It's a visceral kind of thing. They're masters of sort of producing the sensation through the music that they want to elicit, right? So in some cases, that's a lofty kind of heroic power sort of stance, kind of charging across the field with your sword held high kind of vibe. And that's what I was talking about with those sort of major sort of melodic elements over the doomy sort of bed, you know. They're also good at like just sick Spartan kind of breakdowns where it's, you know, just drops to a halftime feel, and there's only notes in there that are just enough to give you the feel of you know, everything kicking along, you know. And that, to me, that seems like sometimes the sickest breakdowns are the ones with the least amount in them, because you come from a place, particularly with these guys, where you've got, you know, two guitars, you've got a drummer who's out of his mind, you've got the vocalist doing all kinds of chaos with different like guttural sounds and screams and things like that. It's a lot going on. And so, oh, and did I mention synths and strings and all that sort of stuff? In one case, I'm sure I heard like a subtle pipe organ effect sort of laid in there as well. You know, that can be an awful lot. And to give you that light and shade where it drops back to basically nothing, but then to be able to weave that into something with purpose, like at that point in the song where it drops down to that real Spartan feel, it gives you an even greater sense of chaos. You know, like this is like, these people have made a terrible choice. The spirits are going to come back to haunt them. You can feel it in the music. And that's no small feat, man. Like it's, you know, you could break down simply writing a song into just coming up with a few sick riffs, putting them over a beat and a melody, and Bob's your uncle, you're done, right? But to be able to specifically target an effect that you want the listener to experience is a whole other level of songwriting, you know, and these guys have that in spades. It's quite remarkable, actually. I mean, obviously talking about the video clip, the imagery is stunning. Like, this was an amazing video for a band that, I mean, I'd never heard of prior to the Hellfire coming out. Much like I think a lot of people, there's guys out there screaming, going, "You don't know what you're talking about," and yes, I don't. You know that, right? That's the whole point of this channel. But it just seems like this is a high-reaching sort of production for a band that, I guess, you know, by nature, a lot of black and deathcore bands aren't household names, right? So where are they finding the money to fund these things? You know, it's not like they're like Beyonce. But yeah, I'm glad they do, because that was a trip. That was really interesting. Okay, I don't know that I got too much more to say about it. Like, obviously, I called out all the parts that I enjoyed thematically and musically. So that's pretty much all there is to say, other than the fact that was cool. It's going on the playlist. I'll definitely be listening to it. In times where I feel like I need a little bit more drama in my metal, this is exactly what I would reach for. This is pretty cool. Yeah, so as always, if you feel like I've brightened your day at all, feel free to buy me a coffee. I'll put a link in the description. But more importantly, if you really want to help out, like, follow, subscribe, share. That's a key one. I'd really love to get this community broader. Like I keep saying, every time I look in the comments, there's somebody checking in from somewhere else, like Romania, like Slovenia, countries I've never heard of, Kreblekistan, made up countries. They're all checking in, you know. And God, I appreciate it. Like that to me has been the biggest joy. I constantly tell people in the comments, like, it's nice to see your numbers go up. But what's even cooler is realizing you're reaching out to countries that are just, you know, you had like no concept that you'd ever be able to communicate on such a scale, you know. And I just hope I'm holding up my end of the bargain. So yeah, but anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you all, and I'll catch you on the next one.